Yud Aleph Iyar, Tavshin Pei Dalet, an incredible miracle happened. The leader, the president, who was going to take over the place in Iran of the next leader, ended up falling into an abyss in the middle of a forest from his helicopter and getting completely destroyed. The man who wanted many Jewish bodies to be burned who was the mastermind behind all the missiles that were thrown, here ended up getting burnt himself and getting his body completely annihilated and not coming a day to burial at all. He was also a man who was responsible for thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that were killed. And they say he was very much behind the October 7th massacre. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends his messages sometimes in very interesting ways to remind us that he's always here. Even in times when we don't know our left from our right, we don't know why we're going through the anti-Semitism and the difficulties that we're going through, Hashem sends his reminders. As we know, in Turkey, not long ago, about a month or two ago, there was one who compared Israel to Hitler, and the actions that we do are similar to him. And the man didn't even make 24 hours before he had an incredible heart attack, even on camera, to be able to see that he didn't make the day. Because when someone speaks against the chosen people to a certain extent, HaKadosh Baruch Hu here and there will send his signs. Hashem will send his signs in order to remind us who's the one behind the mask. The leader of also the President Lula of Brazil also, on a similar note, when he went ahead and made the same type of comparisons of us to all the Hitler actions that were done at the time of 80 years ago, and he says that what we're doing to Gaza is the same thing. Look what happened to him. Not soon afterwards, within a month afterwards, he ended up having floods all over Brazil, hundreds of people dying at the responsibility of his fast mouth. And the Yesod here is the foundations of what we're just trying to bring down here is one very important lesson. There's a pasuk that says, Hashem yilachem lechem ve'atem tachrishum. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do battle for you, and you will be quiet. Meaning, the true battle that happens between us and the Goyim is in a stage when we get to the stage where HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'll take care of it. It's on me. I'm the one who's going to be able to take care of you if you go ahead and do what you were supposed to be doing. The time we saw this, most ecstatically, the most extreme time that we saw this is the Gemara in Sanhedrin on Tzadi Dalet brings Sancheiriv. Sancheiriv was the superpower of the time, who had conquered the whole entire known world of the time. When he went ahead and was ready to finish up the job, he stood with over 100,000 soldiers outside of Yerushalayim. The king Chizkiyahu, who was the king at the time in Yerushalayim, was a very righteous king who was sitting in Yerushalayim, and he didn't pick up a finger. He didn't exercise one soldier. He told everyone, get in the Beit Midrash. He picked up his sword and he said, everyone stay in here and I want you to learn as strong as possible. He told them, and over there it says that the next night, overnight, the whole entire army of Sancheiriv did not wake up. Only one person from that army woke up. The leader himself, Sancheiriv, who ran for his life. He lost a whole entire life, and from there was the rest of his downfall. He went bankrupt from there. Because Chizkiyahu knew the secret of Atem Tachrishim. If we know we have the proper bitachon in Hashem, if we have the true faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we know where the source of the whole entire world leads to its success, the way we know that we will be able to be successful is only by what we say, Ein Od Milvado. There is nothing else except for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When we know the secret, then that is the secret of success. That's the way that we finally win. Who learned this lesson and who else taught this lesson? Yehoshua. Yehoshua himself, who was in the midst of heavy battles with Yericho and then eventually with Ai. Of course he was busy sharpening his swords. Of course he was busy preparing his soldiers for fight, especially over here we're dealing with hand-to-hand combat. How much strength, how much dexterity you need to have, how much stamina you need to have to be able to last in such a situation. And in the middle of the night, he met an angel from HaKadosh Baruch Hu who told him to be lan be'omko shel halacha. It's time to learn. He gave him rebuke. He said, Yehoshua, it's not enough what you're doing. The best thing a soldier can do before he wakes up in the morning is supposed to get a good night's sleep. And he told him, no, you're staying up and you're learning. And by doing that, they ended up destroying in a miraculous way Yericho and Ai, and they went on from city to city. Only because they knew the place, the address to where we have to be looking when we're able to get such a thing. You have to always realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be Melachem Lachem. He will be able to find that fight for us when we know where to daven, when we know to focus our learning, when we know to focus what we need to be doing. We say Yadayim Yedei Esav, the hands are the hands of Esav, and the kol is kol Yaakov, and the voice is the voice of Yaakov. They both sound like they were given almost to Yaakov, as the Rav Eli Lapin points out. They both were given to Yaakov. We have the Yadayim of Esav, we're able to fight, but we need to have that kol of Kol Yaakov, that tefillah, that connection. Everybody who has the capability to take on something for himself, you have to realize we're all in the front lines. Just like a soldier can't cut corners, can't wake up late, and he can't leave early. He's got to always watch his back, and he's got to always be on top of everything to make sure that no one comes and catches him off guard. So too, there's no off guard in our Seder, in the time when we decide to make something to learn, to daven, to make a certain Kabbalah, a certain Chesed, Tehillim, whatever we do to be able to take that on. There's no cutting corners, no shortcuts. We are all sitting on the front lines. We're all generals, and that's why over there in Yeshua, he appeared to him as a Sar Tzava. He appeared to him as a general. He didn't appear to him as a Rosh Hashiva. He didn't come as a leader of a yeshiva with a long coat, with a long frock, and saying it's time to learn Torah. No, he came to him dressed with a green suit with all the stripes and stars on the shoulder, because he wasn't teaching him about learning Torah. He was teaching him army tactics. He was telling him the only way to win this war, this is your strategy. You've got to be able to have a little bit of time to be learning. You got to be able to stay up also and be able to do that connection with the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because as we say, and we'll say it, and we have to always repeat it, Hashem Yilachem Lachem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will fight those fights for us. If we go ahead and we're quiet and we pull up ourselves and stop listening to all the anti-Semitism and start listening and stop looking at all the Arabic and all the things, all the people that are against us, and focus on one thing, the power of our Torah, the power of our tefillah, the power of our tehillim, B'ezrat Hashem, naseh v'natzliach.